Welcome to the channel Myths and Legends. Today we will delve into the story of one of the most mysterious and controversial figures in mythology, the angel named Lucifer. In various religious and cultural traditions, his personality is surrounded by numerous myths and legends. In Christianity, Lucifer is traditionally associated with darkness, referred to as a being of hell and demonic essence. However, his original role was quite different, and the story of his fall is one of the most dramatic in religious mythology. Lucifer, whose name translates as bearer of light or light bringer, was initially not only an angel, but one of the highest beings among the angelic hosts. According to ancient scriptures and theological treatises, God created angels as his faithful helpers, endowing them with wisdom, strength, and beauty. Lucifer was the first of the angels, a magnificent creation with exceptional qualities. His other name, Morning Star, is associated with the image of the morning star, which heralded a new day in the heavens. The light of Lucifer symbolized not only his inner purity but also divine enlightenment. Lucifer was one of God's most outstanding creations, beautiful, wise, and gifted. He became the first among angels and was chosen to lead the heavenly host. Excelling in his duties, Lucifer not only fulfilled his responsibilities but also inspired other angels by his example. God endowed him with special qualities, a capacity for deep love and insight, which allowed him to understand and embody divine plans with remarkable clarity and precision. Lucifer, also known as Morning Star, held an exceptional position among heavenly beings. He was so great and close to God that many saw in him a reflection of the divine light. However, despite his greatness, Lucifer remained an angel, not a god. He occupied the highest rank in the angelic hierarchy and enjoyed God's unwavering trust, with his authority among other angels being unquestionable. However, the story of Lucifer takes a tragic turn. At a certain point, his pride and desire for power took over. He felt that his greatness and power allowed him to be equal to God. This led to a rebellion, which became a turning point in his destiny. In his quest to take God's place, Lucifer not only rejected his role as the angel of light, but also forever changed his essence. This act of pride, according to Christian teaching, was the reason for his expulsion from heaven. After his fall, Lucifer lost the light he once radiated. He became a symbol of darkness and evil, the embodiment of opposition to God. Along with him, other angels who followed him in his rebellion were also cast down, becoming demons. Lucifer, who was once a bearer of light, turned into Satan, the prince of darkness, hostile to all divine forces. It is important to understand that the image of Lucifer varies across different religious and philosophical traditions. In some sources, his story is viewed not only as an act of falling but also as a symbol of the eternal struggle between light and darkness, between knowledge and ignorance. Nevertheless, in the Christian tradition, his story serves as a reminder of how pride and ambition can lead to catastrophic consequences. For a long time, Lucifer remained a symbol of divine will and power. In his hands, a great responsibility was concentrated, and he bore his burden with honor. However, in theology, there are concepts that contrast light and darkness, good and evil. According to modern Christian doctrine, angels represent the forces of light led by God, while the fallen angels, turned into demons, served the dark forces under the leadership of Satan, which Lucifer became after his fall. Thus, the story of Lucifer is not only a tale of a great angel but also of his tragic fall. Once the closest to God, he became a symbol of opposition to light and an embodiment of darkness, a central theme in Christian philosophy to this day. It is important to note, however, that God was not the cause of Lucifer's fall. At that time, sin did not yet exist, and the very concept of opposition to God was only beginning to form. Lucifer, filled with pride, decided he knew what was best for humanity. He descended into the Garden of Eden, taking the form of a serpent, and through cunning and deception, tempted Eve, the first woman, thus disrupting divine order. He convinced her to taste the fruit of the tree of knowledge, leading to the fall of the first humans. When humanity sinned, God called Lucifer, once his most faithful and powerful angel, to account. This act of betrayal marked the moment when Lucifer finally fell, turning away from the light and becoming an embodiment of darkness. From that point on, he existed as Satan, the leader of dark forces, embodying pride, envy, and the desire to destroy all connected to the divine plan. When the Creator saw that Lucifer's heart was filled with pride and his thoughts were shrouded in darkness, his wrath was indescribable. God cursed his beloved angel and cast him into eternal, blazing hell. Thus the angel of light, once the Creator's beloved creation, turned into the Lord of the underworld, and his followers, once bright angels, became demons, symbols of dark forces. However, the Bible itself does not directly mention Lucifer as the primary bearer of evil. Originally, the image of Lucifer was not associated with the forces of darkness. His true origins and story are much more complex and intriguing. The image of Lucifer as the ruler of hell and fallen angel largely arose from translation errors of ancient texts. Lucifer is merely one of many names attributed to the devil, alongside others like Satan or the beast. These names do indeed appear frequently in the Bible, but nowhere in Scripture is it explicitly stated that Lucifer and all these names refer to the same entity. Thus, the portrayal of Lucifer as a fallen angel and ruler of hell is the result of historical interpretation and translation, not the original biblical concept. The image of Lucifer in cultural and religious tradition evolved over time into a powerful symbol, though his initial role was quite different. The word Lucifer has Latin roots and literally translates to light bringer. This name is mentioned only once in the Bible in the book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 12. In this passage, the fall of the king of Babylon is symbolically compared to the fall of an angel. In the text, Isaiah says, "How you have fallen from heaven, O morning star, son of the dawn. You have been cast down to the earth, you who once laid low the nations. But you are brought down to hell, to the depths of the pit." Here, the word morning star is used as a sarcastic reference to a king who, in his arrogance, imagined himself powerful but was cast down along with his destroyed kingdom. The prophet Isaiah is in fact mocking this ruler, saying, "So how have you fallen, O son of the morning?" The entire context of the verse suggests that Isaiah condemns the king of Babylon for his pride and fall, though he does so indirectly, without directly naming him. The question arises, why does Isaiah use one of Lucifer's names in this context, and what relation does it have to Satan? Many see a parallel between the fall of Lucifer and the fall of the Babylonian king, as both suffered a downfall due to their pride. However, when examining the original text of the prophecy, it becomes clear that Isaiah did not draw a direct comparison between the king and Satan. In reality, the use of morning star in this case is merely an allegory meant to emphasize the king's arrogance and inevitable fall, not a reference to the figure of the devil himself. Thus, the image of Lucifer as a fallen angel arose later and was associated with interpretations and translations rather than the original meaning intended in Isaiah's prophecy. When we read this passage in the original language, that is, in Hebrew, the sarcasm of the prophet Isaiah is somewhat different. The text reads, "Ekne polta mishamayim hilo ben shahar nigdata la eretz hea olish al goyim." Did you notice the term morning star? Of course not. Isaiah never uses that name. He calls the king of Babylon Helo ben Shahar, which translates as shining son of the morning. In Hebrew, the phrase shining son of the morning has no connection to the devil. This expression is associated with the planet Venus, also known as the morning star. Venus was traditionally considered a symbol of grandeur, splendor, and closeness to the divine, and such titles were used for exalted rulers. This bright celestial object was one of the first stars to appear in the evening sky and the last to disappear at dawn. Hence it was called the morning star, or in Hebrew, Helo ben Shahar, shining son of the morning. Viewed from this perspective, Isaiah describes the king of Babylon using an allegory of Venus, comparing him to the shining son of the dawn. This is not a precursor to Satan, but rather a metaphor emphasizing the king's former greatness, who, like Venus, once shone in the heavens, but eventually fell. The prophet Isaiah compares the fall of the Babylonian king to the movement of the morning star, which every day appears to fall from the sky into darkness. We now understand that Isaiah was actually referring to the planet Venus, but how did this celestial body become the image of Lucifer? When early Christians translated the Bible from Hebrew into Latin, they encountered this verse and translated the Hebrew expression morning star as Lucifer, which in Latin means light bringer or morning star. In ancient mythology, the morning star was often associated with a deity and was considered the offspring of the polar light and dawn. Venus, as the brightest object in the sky after the moon, was a symbol of light and divine power. But how did this astronomical phenomenon become associated with the embodiment of evil? And how did fallen angels enter this story? The answer to this question can be found in the apocryphal Book of Enoch, which is not part of the canonical Bible. In a section titled The Book of Watchers, it tells of a group of angels, known as the Watchers, who were sent to earth to observe humanity. They were led by the fallen angel Semyaza. However, while among humans, the Watchers began to break their duties. They started to engage with earthly women, producing offspring known as the Nephilim. These Nephilim, according to legend, were giants who consumed all living things and destroyed the earth. The Lord, seeing that these beings were causing irreparable harm to the world, commanded the destruction of the angels' offspring. Additionally, the fallen angels, including Semyaza, taught humans various forbidden knowledge and arts, leading to further distortion of divine order. Thus, the image of the fallen angel became associated with disobedience, forbidden knowledge, and destruction, and Venus, the morning star, which once symbolized light, transformed into Lucifer, a symbol of downfall and darkness. The fallen angels brought not only forbidden knowledge to humanity, but also taught them things that changed the world. They taught men to make weapons and wage wars, and introduced women to the art of adorning themselves, wearing precious stones and using mirrors for makeup. Semyaza, the leader of the fallen angels, taught people how to use magic and practice divination, opening the way to occult practices and forbidden knowledge. Observing from heaven how this knowledge distorted human nature, the Creator decided to cleanse the earth of corruption. He sent the great flood to wipe away the corrupt humanity and their descendants, the Nephilim, from the face of the earth. However, God warned Noah in advance, instructing him to build an ark to save those worthy of a new life. After the flood, God commanded his faithful angels to punish the fallen watchers and their leader, Semyaza. These angels, who taught humanity destructive and unholy knowledge, were chained and cast into the abyss, where eternal punishment awaited them. It is important to understand that this story comes from the Book of Enoch, which is not included in the canon of traditional Christianity and Judaism. The Book of Enoch is considered an apocryphal text and is part of the pseudepigrapha, ancient texts attributed to biblical figures, but not recognized by official religious doctrines. When early Christians began to carefully study the Old Testament in search of possible hidden prophecies, their attention was drawn to a short verse from the book of the prophet Isaiah. Instead of interpreting it as a metaphor related to Venus, the morning star, they saw in it an allusion to the fallen angel Semyaza. When theologians of that time read this text in Latin, they started to interpret the word morning star not as a symbol of light, but as the name of a fallen angel. Thus, the image of Lucifer gradually strengthened and was added to the list of names attributed to the devil, along with Satan, Beelzebub, and the beast. Over time, especially in the Middle Ages, when science and knowledge were under the control of church scholars, these terms became synonymous. It was then that the myth of Lucifer as a fallen angel who rebelled against God and became the leader of demonic forces was embedded in the minds of people. In this way, the myth of Lucifer as the traitor of heaven and leader of the forces of darkness became rooted in culture and religion. And so our story comes to an end. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to not miss new episodes. Leave your thoughts in the comments and see you soon on the Myths and Legends channel.